Go. There it is. So welcome everybody. We are now recording. For anyone at home, I'm going to be posting this on Facebook. If you're watching, welcome to you at home. Welcome to you who are live. I do want to thank our sponsor at ASICS and Volvo and Electrolit and all our other sponsors who make our program what it is. We could not do it without our sponsors and all of you who have actually joined. We are over 700 paid members or a few charity members that, there you go, that make us road runners. We are nearly 70 pace leaders. We are supposed to have pace leaders every 10 minutes at the Rose Bowl half coming up from 1:30 to 2:30. We are going to have pace leaders every 5 minutes from 1:30 to 2:30, and almost every 5 minutes from 2:30 to 3 hours, where we're only supposed to have from 2:30, we go to 2:45 and then 2:30. We're going to have nearly every 5 minutes from 2:30 to 3 hours. I'm missing a 2:55. I think they won't kill me. And we're even adding in a 3:15 pace leaders. These are all with the official signs. They look pretty similar to the signs that you see every Saturday morning or wherever you are, except they just have the finished time. That's all they have on them, red with the finished time, either a black lettering, numbering, or yellow numbering, one or the other. But over twice the signs that are published that we're supposed to have, we're going to have pace leaders and signs on the course. So that's really good news. All of your pace groups are going to be covered with a finished time that's pretty equal to the ability level that you have that you're training for the LA Marathon. Okay. So pretty much, half and then minus 5 minutes will be sort of kind of the finish time for your half marathon of what it's going to be for your marathon, if that makes sense. But we're also going to go over a lot more of that stuff coming up. So here we go. Thanks again for joining. You hopefully see all this. Here's what we're talking about today, the Rose Bowl Half Marathon. And here's a little video. Hopefully you can hear this. There you go. Hopefully, one or two of you may want to do that race this coming Sunday. Whoops. Let's get rid of that. There you go. I don't know. Did you guys hear that? Thumbs up? Yes? No, you didn't hear it. Oh, it's just some music. That's okay. Anyway, it was some good music, but what the heck? That went with it. This coming Saturday, at 8 o'clock, not our usual 7 o'clock, but at 8 o'clock, for those of you who are anywhere near Santa Monica, or you're going to the bib pickup Saturday at the Big Five store in Santa Monica, the Big Five store, the bib pickup begins at 9 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, at the usual totem pole location at the end of San Vicente, kind of right on Ocean Avenue, at the picnic tables there near the totem pole, what we call that area. At 8 o'clock, not 7, the normal time, at 8 o'clock, we are doing a 10-minute shakeout run. It is on your schedule. Now, what I would recommend from everybody is take tomorrow and do nothing, maybe some really, really light strength training for upper body or something, but don't get yourself sore for a Sunday race. And basically take tomorrow off from running, run walking, or walking. That's Friday, tomorrow. And then Saturday, do a 10-minute half marathon race pace, run, walk, or walk, whatever your pace is, whatever you're doing, do that 10 minutes only. On Saturday morning, you can join us at the 8 o'clock meetup and then drive over to the Big Five store, park in the back, it's free parking, and pick up your bib number at 9 o'clock. We're meeting at 8. They start at 9. So it's really one right after the other. It's very close. The Big Five is a quick little drive away, maybe 10 minutes most. And you're welcome to, but sleep in if you want. I recommend sleep 8 to 9 hours of sleep tonight, 8 to 9 minutes, 8 to 9 hours of sleep Saturday night, Friday night, same deal tonight. I see if you need to sleep in and get that extra hours of sleep, do that. Miss our 10-minute run and just do it on your own after you get up. So sleep first, and or if you can make the 8 o'clock and still get in that sleep and you're in Santa Monica, great. Join our 10-minute shakeout run. I'm not expecting more than like 36 people or so, is pretty consistent. Saturday at the Totem Pole, 8 o'clock. Now, the real deal here, we're going to talk about the first 3 miles. We're going to talk about 80 minutes to go. We're going to talk about nutrition before, like now, and then during the race, and even a little after. We're going to talk about psychology for race day, tapering for the race, which is, I basically just said it all. Nothing tomorrow, Saturday, 10 minutes at half marathon race pace. And then Sunday, you're doing your half marathon. There's tapering for the race. And then recovery. What do you do after the race? What's going on there? And then questions and answers. Like I said, there is already, which I'll be posting a link to again on our Facebook site, already on your newsletter, there is a deeper dive into like pretty much every mile of the entire half marathon. We're going to be covering it a little bit quicker than that video, which many of you may have already seen. So here we go. Basically, as you continue on your race, your heart rate will go up and up and up and up and up and up. And as your heart rate goes up and up and up, you guys may have seen this slide before. Your glycogen consumption goes up and your fat consumption goes down until you get to a point where you're only using glycogen. You only have, here we go. Oh, hang on. You only have so much glycogen, which we're going to talk about in just a minute, before you hit the wall. All right. So you can increase that glycogen volume by keeping a lower heart rate. So you're basically using more fat and less glycogen. Got the idea? And you can maintain that glycogen reservoir. Now, here's the deal. Let me go 2 slides ahead here. Whoops. Here we go. There it is. There we go. Let's talk about glycogen consumption. All right. So at low heart rate, you build this endurance base. That's the key to most of our Saturday morning training is low heart rate. There's nothing whatsoever to do with marathon race pace or half marathon race pace. That's totally out of the picture. It has to do with building this aerobic base and widening that aerobic base. So when you're on your half marathon, you can still utilize more fat at this lower heart rate, even though your heart rate's going up and up and up and up. You've got this wide range of heart rate where you're still using mostly fat, right? So you're holding off on using that glycogen and utilizing it up, right? And you're still using fat. Now, here's the deal. If you see here, LT, just a little above your lactate threshold, which is a little above your aerobic threshold, here's fat burning, here, mostly fat, here's a little of both, right? A little above that, you're depleting your glycogen reservoir, so much so that you only have 80 minutes left to go, 80 to 90 minutes left to go. I apologize for my dog barking. I have no idea what's going on. You only have 80 to 90 minutes left of glycogen. So if your heart rate's too high, too early in this race or any race, you're going to be depleting that glycogen reservoir too fast. You only got 80 minutes to go. Got it? I recommend everybody calculate at your ability level, at your average pace, calculate where you will be with 80 minutes left to go to the finish line. In other words, I didn't type this out this time, I apologize. But think about this. If you were, I'm going to use 10-minute per mile pace because it's really, really simple. Take 80 minutes, divide, if you're a 10-minute per mile pacer, take 10 minutes per mile, divide that into 80. 80 divided by 10 is 8 miles, right? Miles, 8 miles minus 13.1, that will give you 5.1 miles, right? So at mile 5.1, if you were a 10-minute per mile pacer, I mean, runner, or that would really be a runner. But the same thing with run, walk, and walk. Calculate that 80 minutes to go. In fact, one of our people online here, Joe, just mentioned he saw this in the video that's already online, 80 minutes to go. And he thought, gee, what a great idea. And so I'm passing this on to all of you as a really important idea of something that you need to do right now. Calculate your pace, 80 minutes divided by your pace, your average pace, and minus 13.1. And that's the mile. If you're a mile runner, you got from mile 5.1 to the finish. You're out of the red zone. You need to hold back until mile 5.1 if you're a 10-minute per mile pacer or runner. Okay. So from mile 5.1, that 10-minute per mile person can speed up a little bit. Now, here's the key to the half marathon. Let me go back a slide here until you see, whoops, couple slides. Oh, I'm on a separate thing. Let me stop sharing this. Share a different thing. Here we go. I have an elevation chart. Is it? Let me see. Hang on one sec. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm not sure this is going to do it. Where are we here? Here we go. And let's share that. Are you guys seeing this map of the marathon? Are you guys seeing it? Yeah, you see that? This map of the half right here. You see it says Pasadena. You're seeing that? Yes?
Yes.
Good. Okay. Thank you for whoever said that. I greatly appreciate that. So I'm going to go down here to the elevation chart. Well, let's show the map first. You begin right here, right where my hand is. There, right there, you're looking at under the hand is the Rose Bowl Stadium, right? In fact, we enter the Rose Bowl Stadium right in front there. There's parking all around here. There's tons, truckloads of parking, but obviously you can't park on the street right here where the race is going to be. You'll see all the barricades lined up, the starting line all right in here between that point and the stadium. Okay. We actually exit right there, and you can see how close we are to the starting line. As we exit the locker room, we're right there's the starting line. It's kind of ridiculous how close we are from the locker room underground, where we're staying warm and we're dry and we have really nice, clean bathrooms. And just don't let anybody else know, because they'll be totally jealous and want to join the Roadrunners, which they are welcome to do next year and have the same perks. Anyway, really nice perk. Make sure you get your wristband to get into the stadium, everybody. At your bib pickup, that's where you get the wristbands. Or there will be somebody named Alex, a really cool guy, who will be right in front of the stadium. You'll see the big rose on the top of the stadium. Right below that, there will be a letter A for the entryway there. And that gate is closed, this black wrought iron gate. And about 30 feet down to your left, if you're facing the stadium, is where the guard gate is. You'll see Alex, and he will actually have wristbands, but it does become a pile up on race day morning. So try and get your wristband. Remember to get it at any bib pickup. But last resort, Alex will be there. Or if you're not racing and not getting your bib and you want to just hang out with us in the morning, you are absolutely welcome to do that. Alex is there for you with wristbands. Okay. So the race starts right there. And as you can see, actually goes into the stadium kind of right over there. It's not exactly correct, but anyway, we do run down this street. And right about as you get to under this freeway here, mile one, you got about a quarter mile, as I'm going to show you, about a third of a mile uphill. That's right here. Here's mile one. You're going from 743 feet right up to about 790 feet. That's about what is that, a 50-foot climb in about a quarter mile. That's a good bit of climb in about a third of a mile. Okay. But the big ticket item right here is from mile, call it 1 3/4 to about 2 3/4, right? Almost 3 miles. Well, there's 3 miles. A little before mile 3, you're coming up, you go all the way around. Let's get you. You go, here's mile 1, that little uphill right there. You go all the way, and somewhere around like right here is that big uphill from right there, mile 1 3/4 or so, all the way up to like mile, almost 3, 2.8, something like that. So you're looking at something that's similar to like Godzilla in Griffith Park. You're looking at something that's kind of similar to Amalfi in Santa Monica. There's nothing exactly the same as Newport Beach. It's not as bad, as steep as that 1/2 mile hill. Nothing like that. At any rate, you're looking at a really good climb. So here's the problem. One of the reasons we do all these hills is I want to get you guys to a point where you realize it's not ever, ever, ever about pace. Your pace back here, remember glycogen consumption, you need to slow it way, way, way down. If you're like, I'm just again using this as a really easy example. If you were a 10-minute per mile pacer, you're going to need to slow down by about 1.5 minutes. That's huge. You're talking about a 10% reduction in those hills, between that quarter or third mile hill, right in here. And then that mile and a little plus from right in here. From right in here to almost 3. Right at that corner, right before mile 3, you will see me looking at you while you're coming up this big hill right here that starts over here. That hill, it starts right here at that corner. Right at that corner, the hill begins, goes all the way up to the corner right there. You take a right, you'll be looking right at me. You'll take and smile and wave because I will be taking your picture of all these groups. You turn the corner, you take a right turn, and blam, you hit mile 3. So that 10-minute per mile pace, and I have pace lead this course. It was actually a rock and roll race many years ago that is defunct, but it was identical course to what you're looking at on screen, what you will be doing on Sunday. I pace led the 2:15. We were 2 years in a row that I did it. 3 minutes, count them. 10-minute, it's actually 10:17 pace for a 2:15 half finish time. 10:17 pace. At that pace, we were 3 minutes behind schedule getting up to mile 3. 3 minutes. And most of that was right in here from that corner all the way up to that corner. This is Orange Grove. That's Colorado. Or the corner right there, I was looking at the Rose Bowl event, the parade. And right at that corner is where they were filming. Right at that corner is where you will see, still, they haven't taken them down yet, some huge bleachers that was actually from the Rose Bowl parade. Right at that corner was like the peak of the filming of the Rose Bowl parade. Anyway, who cares? But That's the key to this race. We were 3 minutes behind schedule 2 years in a row. 2 years in a row, we finished the half marathon. Like I said, it was a different company. The half marathon, identical course. We finished 22 seconds faster than 2:15, meaning 2:14:44. And the second year, we finished actually 42 seconds faster than 2:15, meaning 2:14:22, something like that. And I'll tell you the key. This here from mile 3 all the way down, you go down to mile 5. Actually, there's mile 5 right at that U-turn. If you're a 10-minute per mile person, right at that U-turn, that's where you're out of the red zone. That's where you can speed it up the rest of the way and catch up to that. 2:15, actually, 10-minute per mile pace would be 130 minutes, whatever that comes out to be. Anyway, that's 2 hours and 10 minutes, something like that, instead of 2:15. Anyway, at 10-minute per mile pace. Anyway, you run down this leg, you come around, you run down this leg, then you turn around right there. Then you're going back from here at miles, we'll call it, what is it? 6.5, almost 7, 6.75. You are right there. That's at that corner right there. That's where what went down from mile 3 all the way here and here. You'll note from mile 3, a gradual, nice little downhill. You got a little bump for these you're going up, a little up. But from here, a little after mile 6, right at that corner, all the way back up Colorado, you are now going up a hill back to the same peak right here, where you had the same peak where you saw me from back to that corner. That corner right there is mile 3 and almost mile 9. That's the peak of elevation for your entire course. However, if you have 80 minutes left to go, yes, from 3 to all the way, slow it down a little in here because it's a little uphill, slow it down a little in here because that's a little uphill. But from this point back up to 3, if you know where you're at 80 minutes left to go, you can begin to push your heart rate a little bit, even though from here up, you're going a slight uphill from here uphill. Got it? This is 0.69 feet of elevation. You're going up to 886 of elevation. What do I say? 886 from what, 7 something? You're going up about 120 foot vertical from mile, what, 6.25 to 9? That's about 3 miles. In 2.5 miles, you're going up about 120 foot. What did I say? 120 foot elevation, something like that. That's considerable. But if you're under 80 minutes left to go, like certainly that 10-minute per mile person would be right there, after mile 5. You can push the pace a little bit. You can raise your heart rate a little. You can feel as if you're exerting yourself a little bit more. Got it? Then from mile right about, that peak, what was that peak right there? You're going down that bridge, what's the Arroyo Seco Bridge. You are plummeting down the Arroyo Seco Bridge. There's a little before it, and then you're just going down the Arroyo Seco Bridge. And man, you got a great view on both sides here. And it is a great downhill. You take a sharp U-turn, you're going up a little bit, and then you're kind of going into that neighborhood, into this, wait a minute, let me get you. Move it. So you got that little U-turn right there, and what was downhill is a slight uphill again, like right in this little area. This is the Arroyo Seco Bridge down, and then the little U-turn, and now you're going kind of around a little uphill. And now you got this little glide down to like mile 10, from here down to mile 10. And that's this little area. Nice little glide downhill. I'm going through this pretty quickly to mile 10. For any of you, right in here, if you're not racing, right in here, this zone side of the stadium again, this zone in here is going to be where a lot of awnings are going to be. The Pacers, the LA Running Club, they're going to have a lot of what we call cheer zones with awnings and clubs. LA road runners are not going to have an awning there. We are going to have an awning at the expo after the race. And let's face it, you got your pace leaders with you the whole way. You got us at the beginning inside the stadium in the locker room and at the expo after. I don't know that we need a cheer zone. Look to your pace leaders for a little cheering. Anyway, we'll all be together, road runners. Anyway, so from the side of the stadium here this is a key point, from the side of the stadium there at about, little over 1947 past mile 10, right? Right over there, about mile 10 and a half. The running club is going to be about mile 10 and a half. There's a little walkway right from the stadium. If you want to hang out with us in the morning and join the LA Running Club, if you're not racing, they're going to be right there. There's a little walkway and a parking lot. You're right there. Mile 10 and a half where the LA Running Club is. Anyway, from that point, what are we talking about? A little beyond mile 10, right in there where my cursor is. Move this up a bit if I can. That's not working. I just screwed it up. Hang on. Let's go. All the way to about a little before mile 12, there's that nice, it is about a 60-foot uphill. There's 800 to about, where is it? About 900. Well, maybe it's a little more than that. But from the side of the stadium, a little before the stadium, all the way to the back side of the golf course, it's let me get you there. So from about here to the back side of the golf course, which is around up there, it's about a 100-foot climb from the side of the stadium. It is about a 60-foot climb in about 1 mile. That's about 1 mile. And you're looking at something that's very similar. It's an unseen uphill. It is a very slight uphill. Just come off this big, nice glide downhill to just before around mile 10. Now it's a slight unseen uphill, similar to Ocean Avenue, going uphill toward the pier. Those of you who know Ocean Avenue in Santa Monica, I'm trying to think. It's similar to Crystal Springs Road, where it's a slight uphill for part of that, coming back from the school there, if you know that little area, for part of that. It's a slight uphill. You may feel heavier.
If I need to eat more.
No, sorry.
And
You
that's
think after this we could stop and melt it?
that's
blue
what's
cheese,
going
please.
on.
We have food at home, Diane.
I'm hungry.
And there we go. The back of, you see this little stream on your map here that runs through the golf course? It's actually a little before, this map is misleading. It's a little before mile 12 because that 12 button is so big. That little stream goes under the road where you are going. And from this whole area, it's an uphill. There's a little hump in the road, in the concrete, where that stream to your left and right will go underneath that little hump in the road. That's why there's this weird 5-foot hump in the road, like 2-3 steps and you're at the top of it. It's really little 5-foot hump, okay, in the concrete. From that point on, that hump in the road, a little before mile 12, all the way back to your finish line, which actually goes in through this way. The end is a little off. You actually go into the stadium. The kind of the end of the side. You don't go through the front. You kind of go through the kind of the quarter there. Anyway, so this map is a little hair off. This was done by a private person. I just grabbed online, but it was because it had the elevation chart. All that, what just went up is now down, right at that hump in the road. If you're feeling good, leave your pace group behind. You might even consider leaving the pace group behind very, very slowly when you get to that 80 minutes to go. If you're feeling really good with that 80 minutes to go, you've taken in enough carbs in the form of gels or whatever, and you got 80 minutes to go, if you're feeling good, you start slowly pulling ahead. But definitely, no matter where you are, forget the pace leader when you're going over that hump, what was 60 to 100 foot uphill from the side of the stadium will be guaranteed 60 foot uphill to right there, although that uphill begins back by mile 10. From that moment goes go time. Just floor it. Whatever you got left, most of this is all downhill, 60 foot total downhill to the finish line. Whatever you got left, go for it. Forget about where your pace leader is. Just ditch them in your dust. And then you run through this tunnel kind of at the back quarter of the stadium, right under that tunnel, right into the football field on the side of the football field in the stadium, and you cross you cross the finish line. I want to say it's about the 40-yard line somewhere. You do have a little bit in the tunnel and then a little bit inside the stadium where you actually cross the finish line. But you know, man, when you get into that tunnel, you will see that finish line as soon as you round that curve, probably about 150, 140 meters in front of you, which would be about 140 yards in front of you, give or take. And blam, you're done. And you're done. There you go. So that's the key, that hump in the road right before mile 12, right before that final turn, and just plain go for it. Little uphill, make you feel a little heavier, and a little downhill, just fly. That's it for my discussion on the course. And let me go back to my deal here. And here we go from the beginning. There we go. Okay. So that's that. Here's actually a better map where you go, whoa. Anyway, where you can see it actually does, well, see again, it's not the best. You actually do go through, this is the stadium. You kind of go through the back quarter side. It's not the very front of the stadium. And here's the starting line right in front of the front of the stadium. Anyway, there you have it. There is your marathon course, your half marathon course for this Sunday. Now, whoops, did I miss something? Good. So we talked about the first 3 miles and the biggest hills hold way back, 10% reduction in your overall average pace. If you're a faster half marathoner, it's way less percentage reduction. Or if you're the slower walker groups, it's way less slower percentage reduction in those first 3 miles. You want to, if you're really fast or you're a slower walker, you want to get up those hills quicker. Think about this, your 3-hour your 1:30 half marathon runners, they will get to 80 minutes to go after mile 1. Got it? Or a little after mile 1.5. Because, the whole race, hour and a half is 90 minutes. 80 minutes to go is, about mile 1.5 or so. So, they don't have to worry as much, the fastest runners, as much and getting through those first 3 miles. But still, they do need to hold back a little bit. They need to be still about, 30 seconds, 45 seconds behind schedule when they get to that Colorado where they're looking at me coming up the hill and then turning right. Same with the walkers, same exact thing with the slower walkers. Okie doke. Now, nutrition, before I apologize, I'm jumping back and forth. I just wanted to make sure that I'm getting everything. Here we go. Now, we wanted to, okay, nutrition, here we go. So, carb loading. Let me move this over a little bit so you can kind of see a little better. And you know, the old school is you want to eat more carbs the week of. You want a carbo load. Well, there is something to carbo loading. I really don't want you guys to stuff yourself with carbohydrates. To be truthful, it takes 3 days. It can take up to 3 days to fully digest a meal. Got it? So theoretically, it's really not what you do the night before. Theoretically, you might say the real important meal is 2 nights before. You know, the other thing is you don't want to go into an Italian restaurant and just stuff yourself and gorge yourself with truckloads of pasta and carbohydrate and bread and whatever, and then wake up the next morning just bloated and gassy and basically not feeling like you can walk comfortably, let alone, and I'm not talking power walking, let alone, you know, do a half marathon power walking or running or run walking. You're just like feeling like a balloon, right? You don't really want to do that. Sure, carbohydrate the night before is important, but don't just stuff yourself so you wake up in the morning all bloated and, you know, whatever. So really 2 nights before would be the night. If you want to stuff yourself, that would be the night to do it. Again, 8 to 9 hours of sleep every night from now till race day. As best you can. I hear you. As best you can. I know a lot of people the night before cannot sleep at all. Every hour you wake up, it's, oh my God, finally the alarm rings. I get it. I hear you. Do the best you can. Even the night before the race, the more sleep you get, the better you will be on race day morning. Obviously, adrenaline kicks in, excitement that kind of overrides fatigue to some degree, even a caffeine race day. During the race in gel form, there is caffeine in a lot of different gels you can take with you. That will override fatigue, make your subconscious brain think you have more resources for fuel than you really do. That's what caffeine does. It spikes your adrenaline. Same way excitement spikes your adrenaline. Same way last week I talked about psychology, where you can psych yourself up into spiking your adrenaline, you know, the excitement. Oh my God, I'm winning the race. It may be fake. But hey, you can fake yourself into spiking your adrenaline levels. Oh my God, you know, whatever. So carbohydrate more the next couple nights. You know, we are, let's see, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. We are 3 nights before your half marathon. So what you eat or ate tonight will begin, and tomorrow afternoon, breakfast and lunch will start to fuel your race day fuel. So if you're eating nothing but cookies and garbage right now and not getting in healthy carbs in the form of fruit and potatoes, legumes, that kind of stuff, rice, beans, great carbohydrate. The combination of rice and beans also give you some protein. Those kind of meals, rather than, you know, cookies and cake, which add all sorts of really bad stuff to your diet that will slow you down on race day, ice cream, all that crud will slow you down on race day. This is the time to eat right, okay? Not, I can eat bad because I'm doing a race on Sunday. This is the time to eat right, okay? And maybe a little more carbs than normal. Don't up it too much, you know, don't go crazy like I said the night before. Okay. You don't really want to mineral load. We're talking mostly sodium until the day before, because sodium will raise your blood pressure. And if you have increased blood pressure, you might find it difficult to sleep. So don't start mineral loading, especially like sodium I'm talking about, till like race day morning. If you want to take a mineral pill with breakfast, if you want to take a mineral pill at the starting line, grab a gel. Here's a good one, man. Have a good healthy breakfast. I know a lot of you don't eat breakfast. Start trying to eat some breakfast. Breakfast is more of that carbo loading, just a normal, healthy, don't kill yourself with too much. Breakfast is an important meal of the day from here. Even those of you who don't eat breakfast and fasting or whatever you're doing, intermittent fasting, have breakfast. And race day morning, have breakfast. For those of you who really do have a severe abdominal distress or diarrhea, and there's about 5% of you out there, is a very, not an uncommon thing. I totally get it with breakfast. Do what you have tried and you have trial and error done to get something, maybe a half a piece of toast with peanut butter, maybe a banana, maybe some fruit. Whatever you have tried that works for you before those long runs that we've already done, that 17-miler 2 weeks ago, whatever you've done, do that. For those of you who have severe abdominal distress, your stomach, or you get diarrhea, like I said, you know, there are a bunch of you out there like that. Not uncommon. I know some pace leaders who have those difficulties, and they've figured out how to deal with it. They do marathons. They're pace leaders. Do your best. But here's a suggestion. 5 minutes, or even what I'll do is when, you know, the national anthem plays, or even, you know, when the race begins and you're kind of walking forward, although a half marathon goes a little quicker. So maybe when when the national anthem is playing, or even a little before that, like 5 minutes before the race, start taking in a gel with a little water and maybe a mineral pill to, you know, get up your sodium. Although it's going to be a cool day, you probably won't need as much sodium. See where you're at with sodium in your normal food. You may not need that mineral pill. The gel itself has sodium and minerals in it. Maybe take a gel like right before the start of the race, 5 minutes before. Or what I do is, like I said, during the national anthem or right before. LA Marathon, I'll take a gel when people are starting to walk forward. I'll still have a bottle of water and a gel I'm shoving in my mouth. I'll drink a little of that water, make sure I throw it over the fence so it doesn't hit anybody. And you've just carbo loaded during the start, right before the start of your race. I would say that's a really good one to do. And I think, okay, I think I got that for nutrition. Now, a little touch of psychology. Last night, I actually did have a woman who said, you know, we got a little over 8 weeks left to the LA Marathon. I'm starting to really get nervous. And she admitted, you know, nervousness really is that whatever it is you're nervous about, it means that it's important to you. That's, you know, if you're standing in front of a group of people and you're fearful that you're going to screw up and say the wrong thing, giving a speech, public speech, that's because it means something to you. It's important that, you know, if you don't care if you screw up or not, you can talk to 2,000 people if you don't care, and you won't be nervous. If you care, you know, you get nervous. Same thing with running and racing. There is a psychological profile that I threw in just because I remembered yesterday this discussion last night at track. There is a psychological profile with being nervous, where you're one side of this bell-shaped curve, right? The middle is where you want to be. The one side of the bell-shaped curve is, you know, really low stress. you're lethargic, you're disinterested, you're unconcerned, you're just like, you don't care. And then the other side of that bell-shaped curve is you're hyper, you're overwhelmed, you're fearful, your heart rate is high, you're panic stricken. I think it actually says below that, but you can't see it, maybe because that bar is in the way. I'm not sure. Anyway, in the middle is where you will actually have the highest volume of energy on race day. So the point of this graph is, yeah, somewhere between bored and panic stricken. In the middle there is where you're going to have your most energy on race day. So a moderate amount of nervousness is a really good thing for race day. Okay. So if you're really bored and no big deal, think of something that will scare you a little bit, like, oh, I heard about the bomb at mile 3, which, just psych yourself out into being nervous. There's no bomb at Everett mile. Anyway, if you're really scared to death, do some deep breathing exercises at the starting line. Just hold it and then exhale even slower. Do about 3 of those. It'll relax you a bit. You'll still be a little nervous, but all good. There's a little something to think about. It's good to be nervous. It's really good to be a little nervous. There you go. Taper. We are on taper. The importance of taper. Don't do, like I said, tomorrow, nothing but some light upper body strength training, if even. And then Saturday, that 10-minute run. Here's the graph that shows about taper. You're already, hopefully, the last 2 weeks, everyone benefits from a 2-week taper. I don't care if you're a pro athlete or whatever. Everybody benefits. I know the pro athletes go from race to race to race. That's because that's where they make money. And they may not do a 2-week taper because they're risking not doing as well. You got to figure out which is the race that has the most money and which is the race that has the littlest money. You put your lesser taper with the less money. You put your bigger taper with the bigger money. And that's how pro athletes do it. But for us, whoops, right? We started our taper back here about 2 weeks ago, where this line is your aerobic taper. This line here is your high intensity taper. Well, we really kind of merged the two, where you're tapering 2 weeks, but look what happens to your fitness level. Suddenly your fitness is still going up and up and up. Here's your race right here. Your race is right there, right?
Well,
Started tapering. You see where my arrow is right there?
my
You
race.
started tapering. You started
Tapering.
tapering back here 2 weeks ago, and your race is right there where my arrow is, where the peak of fitness is. Got it? This is all after race. This is post race. You're now detraining. You're now recovering, right? But all the way from here up to here, even though you're doing less and less and less and less,
Yes.
fitness levels going up and up and up and up and up. Got it? Your hormone levels are increasing. Your muscle strength is rebuilding. That's where you want to be on race day, where your testosterone levels are on high, your human growth levels have already peaked, and you're rebuilding muscle tissue at a high rate, even during the race. That's where you want to be. That's why the importance of taper. That's why
¿Y no tiene piernas?
less and
¿No
less,
tiene piernas?
nothing tomorrow, and that little kicker on Saturday
Trae un
morning,
poquito
which
de esto.
with us or not,
Órale.
and your decision. But sleep, you get more hormones during sleep than any other time during training. Sleep is where you recover and build more hormones,
Oh my God.
all of that
Yo no
stuff.
duermo.
And there you go. So with that, let's continue on. I'm just looking to see if I can't mute somebody. But anyway, I'm not finding them.
You can find anyone? I'm watching you, man.
Anyway, if any of you are not muted, if you could mute yourself, that would be great. I would appreciate that because you are actually being recorded.
¿Qué dice?
There we go. Good. Okay. Now moving on. I'm not even going to talk about this one. It's just more of your, yeah, we already talked about this one. We got it. Good. Now, recovery. We've already gotten through the entire Rose Bowl half marathon. We've gotten you through nutrition, all that stuff. Oh, you may want to take gels like every 40 minutes. Do the math for yourself. The average person cannot digest more than about 60 milligrams of carbohydrate per hour. 60 milligrams per hour. The average goo gels, which will be on the course, is only about 23. So 2 gels an hour, you're only getting up to about 46 milligrams, where most of you could take even more, up to 50, 60 milligrams. So that's a gel every half hour. Electrolyte's going to get you up a little higher in carbohydrate consumption. See how much carbohydrate you can take in. I would say, 40 minutes every hour, take in a gel every 40 minutes, take in electrolyte, every other mile. There aren't a lot of carbohydrates in electrolyte. You can do a lot of electrolyte. Because of that reason, because it's less carbs, less sodium also in electrolyte. So you can do a lot more electrolyte than you might be able to do in Gatorade or Nuun, which we've had on the marathon course in years past. I cannot do Gatorade, period. It gives me stomach distress from 1 cup. I won't touch the stuff. But Nuun, electrolyte, I have great experience with, great product. I love this stuff. So that's calculate your carbohydrate intake based on what I just said. So taper. You've just broken up your smallest filaments that make up your muscle. You have billions of these things called the sarcomere. If I had 6 fingers, that's what a sarcomere looks like. It's held by little walls on the side that are kind of zigzaggy that actually bend like an accordion. They're called Z bars. That they're actually Z walls that can shrink and expand, and they shrink and expand with those filaments. Your filaments pull apart, they push back together again. That's how your muscles work. Billions of these things working together in tandem. That's how your muscles work. But each filament is comprised of single molecules of beads of protein. So like a necklace of beads of molecules of protein, single molecules of protein all the way across, and they break very easily and they knot up very easily. That's why we do the foam roller. That's why we do the stick. That's why we do, for part of it, massage, to straighten out these protein molecules that get knotted and broken and together. Eat more protein after your run. If you can take something with you that has more protein in it, you'll probably be able to pick up some bars in the expo right after you exit the stadium. Hey, hang out on the football field, take pictures on the football field. Please don't take a lot of pictures in the chute right after the finish line, because more and more people are packing into the chute. And if you're standing there taking pictures, more and more people are going to clog in and you're in their way. And we need to move through. If you just go around and then back into the football field, you could take pictures of the finish line and get right next to the finish line, right next to that fence with a pile of people there in the football field, and you're out of that little chute. So try and get out of the chute as fast as you can, then take pictures. Try and get in some protein. We go right after the football field. There is some food where you get right before you go under the stadium again. They have, carbs, which are important. They have some protein. I'm trying to think what they have they have some bars with protein in it. we have, what we've had at the finish line will be Easy Up. Those Easy Up bars have 5 grams of protein in those bars. Maybe even grab 2 of those bars to replenish protein, to replenish those molecules you've broken up during your half marathon to recover quicker, rebuild those muscles quicker. You'll then go underneath part of the stadium into that, the opposite where you went into the stadium, you'll be going underneath the stadium again, going the opposite direction. What was a left turn into the locker rooms will now be a right turn into the locker rooms. And right in there, you could grab a protein shake. If you have it, that you've taken it with you, that would be a great idea. Start drinking that protein shake. Change your wet t-shirt into some dry clothes. Put your jacket back on, stay warm, especially that dry shirt will really be a good idea. Get out all that wet stuff off of you. Then you exit out of that locker room, back up out of the way you came, out of the front of the stadium. And immediately at the top of that hill, there will be a ton of people there. Go left, and that is where the expo is. That's where the free beer is, the beer garden. That's where our awning is for LA road runners. If you haven't gotten your yellow t-shirt for this year yet, your tank top and t-shirt, you can do it right there after the race and hang out there. They have ASICs will be there. You can get gels there. It's kind of a nice little expo. You can hang out there. After you've gotten a dry shirt, put on a raincoat. By the way, everybody's expecting rain. I've looked up on weather.com on my little app there. And right now, let's see where we're at this second. Weather.com says Pasadena, the rain was going to end at 10 o'clock, and it was about a 30-degree chance of rain at 7 o'clock when the thing began. 7 o'clock, 30%. That drops down to about 10 o'clock with 0%. So I'm not sure where it is now. Oh boy. Let's type in Pasadena. I'll tell you exactly where we are today because these things change almost hourly. Here's Sunday. It's going to be, oh, here we go. Everything's changed already. At 7 in the morning, it's already changed. 7 in the morning this Sunday, here we go, January 21st. It will be at 7 o'clock. It will be 0% chance of rain. And it will be right now increasing. 8 o'clock will be 20% chance now. 9 o'clock will be 20% chance. 10 o'clock, 20% chance. 11 o'clock, 20% chance. 12 o'clock, 20% chance. 1 o'clock, 25% chance. So from 1 in the morning till 7 in the morning, there is a 0% chance of rain right now. There you're looking at it, that dip right there is your percentage chance of rain. 1 in the morning to you're starting at 7 o'clock, 0% chance of rain. And you can see right now what the temperature is going to be going up. It's, what is that? 7, wait a minute. Let's go back. There's 8 o'clock. Here's 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, the start of your race will be 47 degrees. 47 degrees. So here's a good suggestion. That's cold. Get a garbage bag. Cut a slit in the very top of the garbage bag, big enough for your head to fit through. On the side of that garbage bag, at the side, at the kind of the bottom of that garbage bag, right? On either side, cut a little slit, arm to fit through on either side of that, sort of the bottom of the garbage bag on the sides. And you will have a makeshift, ready-made, arms through, head through poncho that you can have, do 2 garbage bags. You could even take a little piece of tape, Make sure it's not difficult tape to tear, like paper tape only, and just tape it around you to hold in the heat so the heat won't go under your garbage bag. A few of those, and man, that'll keep you a lot warmer. Now, keep in mind, we'll only have about 20, 30 minutes. You could stay, our pace leaders are leaving with 30 minutes to go before the start line at 6:30. We get our group picture at 6:15, get ready to roll before 6:15. 6:15, we get group picture. 6:20, I have my little discussion, maybe a little warm up. 6:30, we are out the door. Now, keep in mind, the race doesn't start till 7 o'clock. So you have 6:30 to 7 o'clock to go about 150 meters. Not even the half of distance of a football field to get from the locker room to the starting line. You get it? So you're not going to be out there for very long. You could kind of time it right, stay in there. Pace leaders, you guys need to get out there with those signs at 6:30. You'll have 30 minutes, pace leaders, out there in the cold at, what did I say, 48 degrees. All those temperatures are going to be changing between tomorrow and Sunday. We'll keep you posted on Facebook, our Facebook group site, LA Roadrunner group page on Facebook. But those garbage bags will help keep you going. You could, right as this race starts, tear them off, or as soon as you warm up after, even mile 3, just pull them off, tear that paper tape. Do not use duct tape. You'll never get it off. You'll be fighting and, go crazy. Get that thing off you, and rain or shine, I would recommend wearing a hat. If it's going to rain on your head, you won't feel it as much with a hat on your head. Preferably, something like a running cap, right? It doesn't have to say ASICS. But a running hat of some kind, so the water hit your head, and it's annoying when it's raining on your head, but it's not so bad when you have a hat on. Those kind of things. And man, you're good to go. You'll have a great day. And if you want to run right back into the locker room, grab some food, go right into that locker room, change out of that wet clothes into something dry, put on a raincoat or a winter coat, and then a raincoat over it. You're good to go. Hang out at the expo. You cannot go back onto the football field once you've gone into the locker room. You can kind of only go one way. If you have a wristband, you can go into the locker room from outside the stadium. If you're a pedestrian watching the race and you need to get into the locker room and you have the wristband from being an LA Roadrunner, but you're not racing the half, you can go in that way, but you can't go back out to the football field. The security will not allow it. So you can get into the locker room and then leave to the expo, but you can't go back onto the field once you've left the field. There you have it. That's my discussion for today. Oh, I was going to show the finished slide, but I will just say it to all of you. I will see you all. Well, train smart, but train to win. Because if you don't, you won't. And if you do, you just might. There, I did it from memory. I will see you all at the finish line. And there we go. Anybody with any questions, please, Chris, scratch your cursor across the screen and you can unmute yourself, or you can click on the chat button. It might be where it says more on your command bar with the little 3 dots. And if you click on that, you'll see the chat bar, which I'm going into now. And let's see if we have any chat discussion. Or you can, like I say, unmute yourself. April says, would we be able to leave items, nothing valuable, in the locker room to retrieve after the run? I may have just answered that question. Yes. It's really, this is the locker room where the Rose Bowl football teams, the home locker room and the away locker room team, whichever is ever, we have the first locker room. I don't know if that's home or away or they trade them. I don't know. We have the football team locker room, one of the two. And there are little wooden, there are no lockers, there are no doors in the lockers. There are little wooden cubby holes. They're about that wide. And you can put stuff in the little cubby hole, the little wooden frame on the wall. And these things are all the way around. There are tons and tons and tons of them. You can put stuff in those cubby holes, or you can even leave them on the floor. It's a carpeted area. The whole thing is fully carpeted. You could leave it in there. I've never heard of anything getting stolen. Who the heck wants some old jacket anyway? But we will have our pace leader signs on the main table in the middle. If any of you are pace leaders listening to this, please, when you're done, if you don't see me, and get me the pace sign, and you go all the way to the locker room, please leave the pace sign on the table in the middle of the locker room. I'll get it there. Yes, absolutely. You can leave whatever you want on in that locker room. And I highly, highly recommend it. April, great question. Let's see. I think I have some questions before that. I do. Hang on. Oh, I have one new message. Whoops. Oh, what weather app is that? Oh, weather.com, or weather.com actually has a weather app to it. If that was, does anyone know any gels that are gentle on the stomach? I tried Goo brand and made me sick. There are a couple, I think this is from today. Yeah. There are a couple that use more liquid, like Morton is a little more of a liquid gel. I love Hammer Nutrition gels. Hammer Nutrition gels are a little more liquid. You can mix them in water, where some of the other gels, it's kind of like a lava lamp, where you can mix and mix and the gel is still sitting in water, kind of meandering around like a lava lamp. But Hammer Nutrition makes gels, Hammer gels, that are are less thick. Like I said, Morton, there's a couple other gels on the market. There are even some gels that are like coconut water, that are good carbs, got some sodium in them, that they're in little gel packets. Coconut water wouldn't be a bad carbohydrate form. If you really needed liquid, you just tear open the top. Hopefully you don't spill it all out. All that stuff. Yeah, you can go online and you can find all sorts of different things. There was a really good one. Mama. Oh, what the heck's the thing? They made a great one that was more of a liquid. Mama Mia makes a liquid gel pack with these little seeds inside of it. I can't think of what the heck it is. I forgot what I can't. Anyway, that's a good one. Look up Mama Mia gel or whatever. It's a liquid. That was a really good one I remember from years ago. Good luck to, Lola says, good luck to everyone on race day. I will run the distance abroad to keep up with the training. Lolette, great. She's in, starts with a B. Anyway, but good luck to everybody. Joe, does anyone know how we will find our pace leaders before the race? Like, are we allowed to enter the corrals? Well, there's only one major long corral, and you will see these sticks with the big red, the normal red signs, but it'll only have finish times on those signs. And the pace leaders will be directly below that sign holding them. But they will be in the locker room with all of you. You will see them with their signs during the picture. You can follow them right out to the corrals or hang out in the locker room, and you will see them lined up from 1:30 all the way back to 3:15. That will be Paul. There will be a 3:30 walk group. 3:30 is Jose, he will not have a sign, but he will be in the back of that corrals, all the way in the back. They will all be in order. If you see a 220, just go backwards and you'll find the 230. I mean, it's as simple as that. If you keep going back, you'll find the 240, the 245 every 5 minutes, you know, you'll keep getting closer or whatever to your thing. So just go out to this long corral and kind of jump in where you can or need to. Mel, any suggestions regarding parking? Yeah, all the way around the front of that stadium is free parking. You'll see people with those lights, you know, this way. And once you pull into the parking lot, go all the way down, there will be more people and go into this slot, you know, here, you know, it's that kind of thing. It's very well organized. Do you recommend bringing your own water bottle in the race? You know, if you want to have something, keep in mind, we're going from the locker room where you can have anything you want to the starting line. You could hold back, you know, leave 10 minutes before the starting, you know, thing. You may want to make sure you go to the bathroom in really nice bathrooms in the locker room, by the way, like your home kind of bathrooms with really clean tile floor, white tile, nice, clean. You get the picture. Really nice perk. Go to the bathroom in the locker room and drink, eat, whatever it is, you know, a little before your race. You can still have that gel 5 minutes before online while waiting in the corral. But, you know, you don't really need to bring a water bottle to the starting line if you're not going to be on the starting line that long. You know what I'm saying? Maybe if you want to have like one of those little tiny throwaway bottles of Arrowhead or water or something like that, that you buy at, you know, Gelson's or whatever, and take that with you, and then take in your gel 5 minutes before and then down a little of the water. Not too much, so you have to go to the bathroom right away. And then, you know, just like get rid of it on the ground, make sure no one's going to trip on it and fall and break their knees. That, you know, I'm not so sure you really need water at the starting line if you're going to have it in with you at in the locker room. April, if you are a 10-minute pacer, then 13.1, oh, she did the math. There you go. Is mile 5.1. You can pick the pace up after 5, mile 5.1 if you're a 10-minute per miler. If you're a 20-minute miler, 13.1, you're talking about mile 9.1. If you're a 20-minute per miler at mile 9.1, you can pick up your pace. This would be basically a 20-minute mile walker per mile walker. Thank you, April, for doing that math. Diora, is the run walk group in Santa Monica will be doing run walk and half marathon or pure running? Whatever your pace leader does in training, they will be doing on the half marathon, whatever their finish time should be. Most cases is, you know, there's a little give and take here. Race day, marathon race day, they're doing their marathon race pace. That's locked in. But the half marathon race pace is a little give and take here and there. Ask your pace leader exactly what their finish time is, where their anticipated VDOT finish, their ability finish is, because they're a little off. And every 5 minutes, we have pace groups and a pace leader with a sign every 5 minutes. Your pace leaders have all been assigned to one of those 5-minute groups. So they'll tell you whether they're a little over, a little under, you know, you're talking about a minute or two. But they're basically going to be doing what they do. They're doing their half marathon race pace, which is faster than your Saturday thing, but it's within your ability for 13.1 miles. So, and you guys should have had a little bit of a taste of that here and there. But okay, yeah, talk to your pace leader. They'll pretty much be doing run, walk, or walk, whatever. April, oh, equation 13, okay, good. Got it. Yes, at 80 minutes to go, you can pick up your pace. You can feel the more intensity. Even if you're going up a hill, you can push a little harder. Even if you're going from that mile, like, you know, 6, whatever, up to that mile 9, that peak, you're going uphill up Colorado. If you're within that 80 minutes to go, you can make it feel, raise your heart rate, increase that intensity, make it feel a little tougher. Hi, Coach. What happens if one does not show up in the Roadrunner group on Saturday? Saturday for our 10-minute run, sleep in. I mean it. If you don't get that 90 minutes, 8 to 9 hours of sleep Saturday night, don't show up Saturday morning. Sleep in. Don't worry about the 10-minute run. If you're in, Griffith Park, next year we'll have a Griffith Park 10-minute run. LA Marathon the day before, Saturday the day before, we will have a 10-minute Griffith Park thing, or 10-minute run Griffith Park, or run, walk, or walk. Same, we're talking 10 minutes. We will do that in Griffith Park. I'm not so sure we're going to be able to do it in Newport Beach. We'll see, maybe before the LA Marathon, we'll see. But you do it on your own. Skip Saturday. If you're not running the Rose Bowl, and I recommend Saturday do a 13.1 mile time trial, a half mile marathon time trial on Saturday. So, wherever. So there you go. I'm actually going backward on our chat. I wonder if it's the same as heart rate zone 2. Well, half marathon race pace is really kind of zone 3. Zone 2 would really be the easy training pace. Okay. So you're really talking about high half marathon race pace is really the high end of zone 3, not zone 2, zone 2 training. Just to kind of fill you in. Marathon race pace would be zone 3, for example. Zone 4 would be like 10K pace, something like that. Zone 5, there's ABC, you're talking about 5K pace, you're talking about 800 meters, zone 5B. Zone 5C would be sprinting 100%. So those would be your 5 zones, and zone 5, A, B, and C above all that. So let's see. I hope that explained it. Coach, can you give us the formula that you talked about on this chat, please? Formula. I'm not sure. I'm assuming that's the carbohydrate formula. I may have already done that before, after you asked this question. I'm not sure. You got about 60 milligrams of carbohydrate that you can do every hour. GU is about 23 milligrams of carbohydrate per packet, right? So you could almost do 2 of those an hour and still be underneath where, what happens to you when you get 60 milligrams of carbs or more, where you can't consume more, you start feeling nauseous because you just can't consume that much. So stop taking in carbohydrate, let your body digest some carbs, and that nausea will eventually go away slowly. That's one reason for nausea, is too many carbs, too little sodium, too much sodium. Anyway, Joe, calculate where you are 80 minutes before the finish. Okay, we jumped that. I'm going backwards now in our chat. How do we do the math again? Okay, I assume HMRP. Yeah, HMRP is half marathon race pace. Calculate using easy pace, or you want to calculate doing half marathon race pace. That's your average. And I got to the very beginning. Now let's go backwards. Here we go. 8 new messages. Let's see. Oh, somebody, here we go. Thank you. Mama Mia makes chia seed drink and those little gels. It's great stuff, great energy, great carbs. And it's chia seeds, which are a healthy form of fat, which actually will help slightly during your race, but it's also the carbohydrate in the same drink. That's actually really good tasting stuff too. I was given a bunch of that stuff to try years ago. If you want to drink something, Mama Mia chia something, Mama Mia chia drink, but it's in little packets, just like gel packets. Just be careful you don't rip it open and, it goes all over the place. So good. I think I got everybody now, except the new stuff. Yes. Okay. So thank you for the chia seed thing. Mary, can you enter the parking areas from Arroyo Boulevard near? I'm not sure what the street is. It's really the street that goes right in front of the Rose Bowl. Do you remember where we were Saturday? It's the street, you took a left turn to get in the parking lot, and you can park in the parking lot by the Aquatic Center where we met a week ago Saturday for that kind of run. You can park in that parking lot, or you can park across the street toward the Rose Bowl. There's parking all around that Rose Bowl area on the side and a little bit in toward the front there. So yeah, you can kind of come down that big street. Give yourself a little extra time because that traffic does back up getting into those parking lots as it would for any major event, with the guys that, this way, and you're kind of crawling into the parking lot. So yeah, just kind of go set your map, Google Map for Rose Bowl Stadium, click go, and it'll take you right to where you want to go. And you'll see the line of cars. You'll see a line going into one of different parking lots, either next to the stadium or where we parked, before last week, and they all fill up. So, and you won't have any problem parking in any one of those. It's a lot of parking there.
Coach, this is Joe. I got a question for you.
Yeah, question?
Yeah. Half marathon race paces, what zone did you talk about? You said half a marathon race pace, like for me, would be zone 3 or zone 2?
For everybody, it would be kind of the high end of zone 3.
All right, the whole time?
Yeah, basically. Now hold back a little early on, and then you could even go above, if you're feeling great, if you've taken in enough gels, and you're within that 80-minute window to go, you could even go from the high end of zone 3 into the low end of zone 4, where you're a little below like a 10K pace. You're talking threshold run, that T pace run that you do for, in your midweek schedule, where it says T pace is threshold means T pace, get it? You could even go that pace, that fast, that high intensity after that 80 minutes if you're feeling good. If you're not,
What about the first 8 miles in?
before that, hold back. Top of zone 3, no faster than the top of zone 3. Hold back from pushing it too hard. The problem is,
how do I know when I'm in zone 3?
because you're feeling, you're listening, you're breathing. Your breathing rate is pretty low. Your breathing rate is pretty comfortable. You're not pushing it. As soon as you hear your breathing, you're already way too hard. You're going way too fast. If you hear your breathing, you're going way too fast. Just slow it down. You'll hear people breathing around you, and they're just going way, way, way too fast in the first couple miles. You might even, pace leaders, you can always even call out to them, hold back with us in the first 3 miles of uphills, and you can collect a big mob of people is what I did, from all those people racing the course who are not road runners. We are the official pace leaders for the entire course, not just road runners on race day for the half and the LA Marathon. But yeah, hold back. Don't follow those people breathing a little harder. If you can hear them, they're too hard. Slow it down.
What you're saying, just use some common sense.
Yeah, hold back. The breathing is indicative of where your heart rate is. Your heart rate is where if it's too high, you're consuming glycogen. It's that thing. You're less fat, more glycogen as your heart rate goes higher and higher and higher. So listen, that's what's telling you what your heart rate is doing. If you're breathing too hard, slow it down, use less glycogen, save that glycogen. I want to get bumper stickers that say save the glycogen. Anyway, good. Did that answer it, Joe?
Yes, it did. Thank you very much, Coach.
Great. Okay. Keto, with the expected weather, best wear leggings or shorts? It's really a personal thing. I know people that have run in Boston and it's 35 degrees outside, and man, they're wearing a tank top and a t-shirt. I would not be doing that. I would be wearing, the faster people generate more heat. The slower people generate less heat. That's really the name of the game. You generate as a human being a lot of heat. If you've been out there in the cold and you felt chilled and you need to warm up, even running a half marathon race pace, wear leggings, absolutely wear leggings. It's the middle of the pack person, it's a tough call. Cause you are going to be warming up. It's 48 degrees out though. It's really going to be an individual thing, but definitely faster runners. I think they would even know no leggings. You will see faster runners out there. I guarantee men will probably be in a tank top and shorts, our 130 pacers, and Miguel and all those guys, and Mark will probably be in less clothing, and like Jose and those guys, walkers, will probably be in leggings. I think that's really, and then it'll be kind of in the middle. We'll get less and less leggings, more and more shorts. That's kind of where it's at. It's really very much an individual thing. Mary, can you enter the parking areas before 6 a.m. from Arroyo Boulevard? Yes. I'm not sure where Arroyo Boulevard is, but yes, the answer is yes. You can enter parking before 6 a.m. In fact, you can enter, I've seen people enter those parking lots at like 4 in the morning. I don't know what the heck they're doing at 4 in the morning. The locker rooms do not open, I just heard this, at 5:30. So you really do want to get there about 5:30, because then you only have till 6:15 before we're leaving. Well, we're taking our group picture, we're doing the coach talk, we're out the door, so at 6:15, be ready before 6:15. So you really want to be there about 5:30. That's when they actually open the locker rooms. But yeah, you could pull in and sit in your car, get a closer spot at 4 in the morning, I've heard people who do this. They'll pull in at 4 in the morning. They'll be right close to the stadium. They'll take a nap till 5:30. They'll get out of their car at maybe even 5:20 and walk to the stadium and get online and walk right in the locker room. So plan it out as best you want. Near the aquatic center, like last Saturday when we met at Rose Bowl, or what is the best way to enter the parking lots? Yeah, you kind of enter from the same way where you would have gone into the aquatic center, but you can kind of go past that down to the main street that goes around the Rose Bowl and then into next to the Rose Bowl. Or if you want, you could park next to the aquatic center. Especially if you have people who want to watch you at mile 3 or 9, there's that dirt path that goes right up the hill. And if you park right by the aquatic center there, they'll be able to come back down and get in the car and maybe drive closer to they could probably drive closer to the questionable anyway and pick you up, but you could park right over there easily. Or like I said, closer to the Rose Bowl. Kita asked about shorts or leggings. I just got, what is the max percentage of HMRP, half marathon race pace, HMRP, if you based it on your max heart rate? It would be about, the problem is how do you know your max heart rate? You'd have to run for a period of more than 20 minutes, really hard effort. And then beyond that, for another 10 minutes at least, hard out, in order to really know your max heart rate. This would not be something that you would do which would be comfortable. Your max heart rate would be where your body is shutting you down because you've reached a heart rate that your body will not allow you to go above. That's your heart rate. So be very careful about percentage of max heart rate. Well, what is it for each of us? You know, I mean, that's kind of difficult to figure out. Your watch, most watches, you know, even the ones that say max heart rate and give all your zones and all that stuff, I'm not saying those are really very accurate. They're based on, you know, your wrist-based heart rate, which is not oftentimes very accurate, your wrist-based heart rate, unless you have a brand new, really good watch. You know, but having said that disclaimer, your percentage of your max heart rate would be about 75% of your maximum heart rate. Calculating that accurately, your max heart rate is a whole other story. It would be about a minute and 40 seconds faster than your easy pace. So hopefully your pace leaders are slowing it down a minute to a minute and a half slower than marathon race pace. Well, you're talking about even 10 seconds per mile faster than marathon race pace. I'm hoping to God your pace leaders are slowing it down a minute to a minute and a half slower than marathon race pace. Same physiological benefits and way less risk of injury, that minute to a minute and a half slower than marathon race pace. There's no reason to do all that running or run walking or walking at marathon race pace. Saying that the run walk, actually, I take that back. The run walk and the walk are a little different. Run walk is kind of in between the zone. Your marathon race pace is in between your easy zone. Walking is actually the opposite. Your marathon race pace is actually below your zone. Your easy zone is a little higher. But run only groups, your marathon race pace is about a minute to a minute and a half faster marathon race pace, faster than your zone of zone 2. Your zone 3 is faster by a minute and a half if you're a runner. So yeah, about 75% of HR max, maximum heart rate. Hopefully you got that. Mel, you're absolutely 100% correct. In the first mile and a half for you, your watch does want to kill you. Except you are not a run walker and you're very fast. I'm assuming you're going to do about a 1:30 half marathon, 1:40 half marathon, something like that. And yeah, there you go. That's all I got in the chat box. Does anyone have any further chat discussions or verbal questions? You know, just scroll your cursor across and click on the mute button to talk, or click on the more button to click on chat, and you can type something in. Anybody? Going once? Going twice? Going 3 times?
Hi,
I'm gonna
Coach. Sorry. I was trying to find the little button.
Okay.
You mentioned that if you're not walking, you could still come and hang out with the group in the locker room, possibly.
Mhm.
Just
Absolutely.
get a wristband.
Hmm.
Should we get that at like Big 5 or just wait till the morning of?
Great question. By the way, let me start with this while I'm thinking about it, and thank you for asking all of that. I will be meeting anybody who knows this, but anyone who wants to join me to go to mile 3, and then, you know, what was mile 3 goes back up Colorado again and becomes mile 9. 3 and 9 are the same spot, the same corner, right? But what most people don't know is there was that dirt path right by the aquatic center. And that dirt path from the starting line all the way across those parking lots, you know, just kind of follow the starting line, right? Everybody turns to the right, right? Everybody turns to the right. We go straight across the parking lot, all the way where the aquatic center was. You go run onto the lawn. The aquatic center's to your left. You go onto that lawn, there's that dirt path between the trees that opens on this dirt path. You go up that dirt path, up to the street, you follow it up to your left, you go across the freeway, you just follow your nose. You will be staring at people running up from the starting line to mile 3. You will have 1 mile. They will have 3 miles to get to where you will be staring at them as they come up that hill and then take a right turn, and you'll be looking at them the whole time. So I will be doing this trek from as soon as the go is at the starting line and everybody's going. I will be meeting anybody who wants to right behind the announcer's stand. They have this kind of big stand that's like, I don't know, 10 feet up above the starting line. It's to the side of the starting line, and everyone runs kind of by it. And the announcer will be standing on this wooden giant platform. And I will be meeting on the opposite side from the starting line of this, behind this announcer platform, on the sidewalk. Everyone's on the street starting. I'm on the sidewalk. And anyone who is there, as the gun goes off and people start leaving, within a few seconds, I will, with whoever's with me, I'll begin my trek 1 mile across, parallel to the starting line. And then across, they go right. I keep going straight across that parking lot near the aquatic center, up that dirt path, up that street, and then across the freeway. And I will be staring at those people, and I will beat the front runners as they come up Orange Grove and turn right onto Colorado, right in front of me. So you could be in the locker room with all those people. You can be at the starting line, say goodbye as they go out. So you could go out to the starting line with them. No reason you can't. Just don't get in the starting corral. You could see them. And then before they start, go to the other side of that corral. You may have to go to the front of the starting line and then go around to the announcer booth before it begins to get to me. Otherwise, you got this mob you cannot get through, right? But you can go around them at in front of the starting line. And you can follow me up to mile 3, see them all at mile 3, take pictures. Then at mile 9, they come back and take pictures. And then they have like about from 9 to 13, that's 4 miles. They have 4 miles to get into the stadium. You could then run that 1 mile back to the stadium. They have 4 miles, and see them either go into the stadium and take pictures of them as they kind of round the curve into the stadium, or you could then the A entryway into the front of the stadium by that time, which is way below the giant rose bowl and the giant rose in neon at the top of the stadium that you'll see in the dark when you arrive. That A entryway that was closed when you arrived will be open, and you can walk straight into the stadium that way, in the stadium, not into the field, but into the stadium. And in the stands, you can kind of walk around the side more or less, and you'll see them go underneath you as they come out of the tunnel. You can take their pictures and film them, at least their backside, as they run toward the finish line, and you will see them at the finish line. And then you could go back around into the locker room, show your wristband, and meet them in the locker room. You cannot go onto the field unless you really do the race and you're in the slot. So there you have it. If you haven't signed up, you can get a wristband to get into the locker room before or after, again, either at any one of the bib pickups, or, and you may not want to wait till race day morning, Or in front of that gate, that's kind of 30 feet to the left of that A entryway, the main entryway to the stadium, the front entryway to the stadium. There will be Alex at that guard gate, and you can get a wristband from him race day morning. He will probably be there about 4:30, 5 o'clock, something like that, and you can get a wristband then.
Okay.
But if you're nearby a bib pickup, go to the bib pickup and get a wristband there. I will be handing out wristbands, though don't need me to do this. I will be at the Pasadena Stadium bib pickup tomorrow between 9 o'clock and I think it's 5 o'clock or whatever it is, but I arrive at 9. I will be there all day long handing out wristbands in Pasadena at the Rose Bowl. That's kind of on the side of the stadium and the Rose Bowl. It's not in the front. It's kind of, if you're facing the front of the stadium, the bib pickup is actually to the right side of the stadium. It's a small little bib pickup area. You'll see the LA Roadrunner awning and a bunch of other white awnings. It's you kind of have to go around the side to find it. And there's parking right in front of where your bib pickup is. It's all free parking. Saturday morning, after our 10-minute run at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, I will be at the Santa Monica Big Five for a wristband pickup. I will be there as well all day, 9 o'clock to, I think then it's 4 o'clock. So those are really the times and where I will be. And there's another big bib pickup area Saturday and Sunday also. I believe at a Big Five out in the valley, but go to lamarathon.com, click on events, click on Rose Bowl Half Marathon, and click on, where do you get your wristband? Where's bib pickup? And it'll give you all the times, and, runner info will give you all the times of the expos, and you get your wristband there. Whether you're racing or not, you can get your wristband in the locker room. You're a road runner. There is an app that we have right on all our app phone, our phones. It's called right there on site. I can use that app. I can click on that app. I can type in your name, and I can see that you are indeed an LA Roadrunner member. Oh, this was somebody I looked up earlier today. I can look up Mel. And Mel Palacios, there he is. Mel, you are a Roadrunner. There you are. I think I got your last name spelled right. So there you go. And he's wearing a men's small t-shirt. So all that information is on all of our apps. That's how you pick up your bib number. Excuse me, how you pick up your wristband. And we know you're an LA Roadrunner. It's a new system.
Thanks.
Morissette, thank you. Oh, thank you. Paul, here we go. Let's go back a little bit. I have a bunch of thank yous. Here we go. Mel, gratitude and appreciate for your time and wisdom. Sure, Mel, thank you, as always. Thank you, Coach. Very helpful as always. Paul, thank you. Thank you very much for all your valuable information. Morissette, Kita, do you know what time Santa Monica bib pickup is tomorrow? I do know it should start 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, bib pickup in Santa Monica. I believe it. It's definitely either 9 o'clock or 10. I know Rose Bowl.
It's 9 o'clock.
It's what?
It's 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. Gil, thank you. I recognize that voice. It's just like Pasadena, the Rose Bowl. It's 9 in the morning in Santa Monica at the Big Five, where same thing Saturday. So 9 o'clock tomorrow, Friday, or 9 o'clock Saturday morning, Big Five in Santa Monica, where I will be Saturday. Cool. Two more. Mel, yes, I am. Second year in a row. Excellent. Grace, thanks for everything. Do Coach, much appreciated. Grace, thank you very much for your kind note. And anybody else, chat or audibly? Anyone? Going once in the chat box, or you can.
Can we pick the bib for other pacers?
What's that?
Can we pick the bibs for other pacers?
If you're someplace where I will be, yes, 100% you can do that. If you're someplace where I will not be, meaning Friday, tomorrow at the Rose Bowl, or Saturday at Santa Monica Big Five, I'm not sure. I mean, I do know people there. I am a member of McCourt Foundation. They do give me some leeway, you know, so yes, there are things that we can do together. I'm not sure. I think it would be a hit and miss if you go to a time where I'm not there.
No, I'll go to Santa Monica when you're there. I think a few people ask me, like 2 people ask me to pick their bib, other pacers.
You know, you can do the 8 o'clock, 10-minute run as long as you get, 8, 9 hours of sleep, Gil. You could do the 10-minute 8 o'clock run and then drive over to the Big Five in Santa Monica. What is it? Just up Wilshire, park behind for free. And then I'll meet you there. Cause I'll be there like right at 9 o'clock, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Great. Zoom user, thank you. Thank you, Zoom user. It's just the name on the screen. Thank you. Anybody else, verbally or in the chat box? Anybody going once? Going twice? Going 3 times? Okay, I am going to stop recording this. I'm going to say thank you to all of you at home who are watching the video of this, which will be posted on YouTube. Which will be posted from YouTube, a link to which will be on our Facebook group chat, but it's on our YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. All of these videos are, if you ever want to binge watch all of these videos, which I cannot imagine doing, the boredom that will set in, I can't even imagine if you watch all these videos. There are probably about 24 of them up there right now, and more that I can post. I'm going to say goodbye to all of you who are watching from home, the recording, and I'm going to be on a bit more for any of you who still have questions. But here we go. Good night for our recorded people.